Hello and welcome to the Exalted Empress Tarot. My name is Tiana and I am the Empress. In today's video, we're going to talk about the truth that is coming out about you or about people around you, and how it's going to affect the dynamic when something comes to light that maybe you weren't even expecting, and basically how the group either comes together or falls apart, and who can actually handle this truth. Now, if you have not done a pick a pile before, I'll go ahead and explain that real quickly. We have our 4 piles here. You're going to pick which one is best for you based off of either the picture or the crystal. I'll show each of those to you in just one moment, and then once you pick the one that is best for you, you can click down below and there will be a link to the exact timestamp when your pile and prediction starts. So for group number 1, we have clownfish and anemone. And we have this purple, pink, and white crystal. For group number 2, we have the Weeping Willow as the main card, and we also have, for its crystal, the clear quartz. For pile number 3, we have the pitcher plant for the main card. And we have the shell for its crystal. And then for the last card, we have Moonstone. Oh, it doesn't want to stay in focus. Rude. Oop, there you go. Moonstone for group number 4. And then we have a moonstone crystal. And let's see if I can get this on camera. There is actually, you see that? I hope so. I hope it shows up for you guys. There is a blue shimmer in here. Which is part of what makes the moonstone so cool, is that sometimes you have those different color sparkles that come through. So take this time, pause if you need to, and pick which pile is best for you, and I will see you in just one moment. Bye. Hello and welcome to the Exalted Empress Tarot Pile 1. Today we're going to talk about the truth. What truth about you were other people trying to hide? And how is it going to come out? How is it going to play out with not only you, but them? If you haven't been here before, I'll tell you how things are going to go in this reading. First, we're going to look at the clownfish and anemone card. This is your oracle card. That's going to be the overall theme of this reading. And then we have a secondary card for you. This is also an oracle card. Exchange gifts. And we're going to read that at the end for some bonus clarification. And in the meantime, we'll get you some tarot cards in here for your main message. Now, for the clownfish and anemone card, that card is about symbiosis, friendship, and working together. The description says, the clownfish and anemone form a symbiotic relationship. The clownfish protects the anemone from predators, as well as cleans and provides the anemone with nutrients. In return, the anemone provides a home for the clownfish and also strengthens the clownfish skin. Working with a partner and utilizing each other's strengths can benefit you both. So, there's teamwork going on. There's friendship building going on. Let's see what truth is in here that maybe you, them, others were trying to hide. You know, it's always a whole thing trying to arrange these cards and to do so in a way that is, it looks nice on screen, because I'll try to organize them like nicely in advance, and you know exactly what just happened will happen. Some will come out and they'll mess up my whole arrangement. So the first half of this reading may also just be me rearranging the orders of the cards. But your first couple cards, oh, wow, okay. Maybe you'll just get a bunch of them very quickly. I'll try to go through this. Fast enough. There we go. Okay, so we have the Sun in reverse, Ace of Cups in reverse, the Page of Wands in reverse, Five of Cups upright, Queen of Wands, Eight of Swords, Knight of Swords, and the Eight of Coins. So, to start off, okay, let me sit with these energies for a second. What truth are they trying to hide? I mean, I think this one is pretty straightforward, at least at the beginning. And that's because we have the Sun in reverse straight off the bat. The Sun is the happiest card in the tarot. It cannot be negative, even in reverse. And since the clownfish and the enemy is not just like a partnership, it's a friendship, I think the Sun in reverse and this happiness is saying that, at least at first, this person, this other individual, maybe it's more than one person, but I think in this case, it sounds like it's just one individual, is maybe hiding the fact that you make them happy, that they have a good time being around you. And it doesn't have to be in any extreme way, but this is with it being in reverse, it's kind of less extreme or like slower, little bit of happiness. So it's still coming through, but maybe in this context, they're not necessarily admitting it to others or themselves. We have the Ace of Cups in reverse, which all the aces are like the spark of a new thing, a new idea, a new feeling, but it has no action in it yet. And in reverse, there maybe have been some acknowledgement of like, oh, I actually like being around this person. I actually enjoy spending time with them, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to leave it there. Like, this is not the only person I can enjoy being around. That's kind of what I automatically see in that. But yeah, they're cool, whatever, but we're not reading too much into it at this time, whether or not you all could be besties or whatever is not really, like, zero energy is being put in at the beginning. And I see, again, with the Page of Wands in reverse, the pages are also involved, like, planning and moving forward in something new, but is a little bit more advanced and further on in the deck. So think of the cards that are Ace to King as being like a deck of regular cards. So the page is like the Joker, for example. And we have this in reverse. Wands is talking about passion in some way. So it can be a passion project. It can be a hobby. It can be anything that we are, a mission, a personal mission, anything that we could feel passionate about. And with it in reverse, I'm feeling like there was just a lot of not follow through on this person's end, which I think just goes back to this reading of not recognizing the truth or not revealing the truth, whether it's to themselves, other people, both. It's like, yeah, I enjoy this person's time. Yeah, they're cool to be around. Yeah, maybe you know this person from some hobby, some extracurricular activity, like something you don't, some friendship circle. Like, it's not something you have to do or they have to do. And so you don't have to be around each other. And this person, again, may feel a pull to be around you, but they're just like, whatever, they're ignoring it. And I think that changes here with the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is feeling bad for oneself, having a victim mindset, maybe even feeling more upset or sad than the situation calls for. And I think what started to happen here is that like they're denying, and then something happened. I'm not getting, well, we'll move a little bit further on in the reading, but with this card, there's no indication of what that may be specifically. We do see like 3 cups in the water, and then this person's back is to the 2 cups that are upright. So there's still something to be gained here that they're not paying attention to. They're paying attention to 3 in or 3 spilled cups, right? And I think in this instance, what we're seeing is they deny, and then at a certain point realize, I would like to actually have this person around. This person could actually be helpful to have them around for some reason, whether it's just they realize how good of a friend you are, or, you know, they feel like you can benefit each other. And I don't mean that in a transactional way. With the clownfish and the anemone, you know, these are 2 very different organisms, but they work so well together in this case because they're providing for each other in different ways. And that's what makes this symbiotic relationship work, which in the descriptive paragraph says, you know, it's about friendship, it's about working together, as well as being symbiotic. So first things first, if we're looking at things as like, oh yeah, I enjoy being around them, and I feel great being around them, and there's some like passion project here that can be worked on in tandem, it just may have been they were ignoring the feelings because they're like, oh, anyone, I can feel happy around anyone, da 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 da. And then they get to this point where maybe it was, especially since this is next to the hobby card, where they realize that if they want to get something done in their passion project, it would have made a lot more sense to do that with you. Or you could have done it better, or it would have been easier, or etc. There's something about the way it started to go, or that maybe they stopped doing it, or something didn't pan out, and they were like, well, why didn't I just go to collective? Why didn't I just ask them? or I wish I felt comfortable going to them. There's something where it's like, oh, now I'm realizing that that was a misstep. And I'm like, what? Now I just don't even know why I did that. Haven't we all been there? Sorry, I'm not laughing because I just think the situation was funny. I'm laughing at the irony because we have all been there. This person misjudged you and the connection, and that's the truth of that they were trying to hide from themselves, probably from others. There's probably others in this that are watching, um, or at least have a viewpoint, if they're not actively trying to watch you guys. And then we have the Queen of Wands card. So I love the Queen of Wands card. I'm pretty sure this card is actually in the background of my page. She is boss bee energy, okay? She has a lot of passion, she has a lot of drive, she's proactive, she likes to get things done. She has, I described her recently as having big sister energy. Very supportive and not letting you get away with BS. And that's just how I see her. She's one of the few cards that I don't really even see as a description, but I almost just see as like, this is a person. And I think what this card is saying is like this, they're realizing that that's who you are. You have these traits. At bare minimum, you have these traits towards the project or the goal that this person has. So whatever the topic is, the two of you both are really passionate about it. You have drive towards it. You really want to work on it, make it come to fruition, what have you. And so you're doing two different versions of it separately right now, or your side project just isn't bolstered by them, whatever it may be, simply because they didn't speak up or because they didn't foster the relationship that could have happened here, the friendship that could have happened here. And so now they're realizing that they lost out pretty badly. They're like, ugh, God, now I'm watching them be cool over here. Or now this fell apart and I'm realizing, like, maybe it still would have fell apart, but I would have gotten further in what I was trying to do. I would have been able to do X, Y, and Z, which moves on to the Eight of Swords, which is feeling trapped by a situation. Now, in the Eight of Swords, this person is not really trapped. You can see with this donkey skin or mule skin over their eyes. Yes, the swords are in that fur, that pelt, but they could just take this off and walk away, right? They're not actually trapped. So we're trapping ourselves with our thoughts or with the certain aspects of the situation. It's more in our head than anything else, even if the situation seems a little hard. So I think right now they feel trapped because they're like, well, now how do I go back and be like, oh yeah, we're friends, and ask them for anything? Whenever, they've been trying to act like you weren't that important for so long, and probably to the point where you realize it. I'm sure the collective knows exactly who I'm talking about in their lives at this point. And looking back, you're like, yeah, well, do I help this person? No. Do I involve myself? Because they have been making it a whole thing that maybe they didn't want to deal with you, or, whether or not you were around for whatever was, who cares, And now they kind of have to back off their own soapbox a little bit and be like, oh, I mean, yeah, we're cool. You know, they don't want to. There may also just be a feeling of like not wanting to be fake if they come back around, right? Because they're doing a 180 in their opinion. So obviously you're going to notice it. Obviously you're going to see it, and there's hesitancy there because of that. And then we have the Knight of Swords. So what I like about this and the placement here is the Knight of Swords is about a truce coming in very, very quickly. The irony is not lost on me. So they've been trying to hide this whole time that maybe you guys could have a good connection. Maybe you guys could work very well together. And now they're realizing that was not the path to take in that situation. And so we're hitting the Knight of Swords, where truth is going to come in at speed. Once they decide that they want to try to fix this whole situation and want to get you involved in this thing, it's going to happen very quickly. Or at least the truth coming to you will be very quickly. They're going to rip the Band-Aid off and be like, okay, you know what? I was a jerk. I was a jerk. I was a jerk. Or, you know, hey, I feel like I've never reached out to you. We haven't really talked too much, and we're both in the same situation, and I feel kind of silly that was the case, because now, you know, we have a shared goal, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever it is, it's the truth will set them free. They're coming in and they're clearing things up themselves. So you don't even have to do anything, which is great. Don't we just love those situations? You don't have to be proactive in this case, because this person's going to come forward, and the truth will kind of expose itself of like, okay, yes, this wasn't the best course of action. It's the one that I took, and now I'm realizing it would have been better if I had done this thing or this project with you instead of just ignoring the fact that there was good vibes here. And we kind of land in this weird spot with the 8 of Coins. It's not bad. It's not super, I wouldn't say it's negative or positive. It's just kind of matter of fact. And that is the 8 of Coins, which is putting in hard work in order to prove a situation. Some situation just requires hard work. I think it's interesting that it ended up just underneath the 5 of Cups. So both lines kind of ended in a tough spot, but this is definitely better, because this is, you know, objectively a little bit more of a negative card. But this one is putting that effort in, having the skills necessary in order to move forward and move things in a positive way. And, you know, we're not getting around that. We're doing that heavy lifting in order to reach our goal. And it may be a little tough, you know, has bloody feet. These pentacles she's making out of whatever plant this is clearly has thorns. We're not having the best time. She's not wearing her PPE. Sorry. I'm not completely familiar with this fairy tale, but I know that she is trying to free, I think it's her brothers who are like the swans in this, but I'd have to double check. Feel free to put something in the comments if you know this story. But she's trying to free them of an enchantment by, well, I guess in this case, making pentacles out of some thorny plant. But my point is, in order to reach this goal, there may be some elbow grease that needs to be put in by both parties, but it is happening. It's been triggered by the course of the events in this situation. So kind of a good thing, I think. If you're going to have some big truth be revealed and it's that you have a better partner in crime or friendship than you thought you would that's coming out, I think that's great. So let's go ahead. That's all the tarot cards I have for you. Let's look at the exchanging gifts and see how we can wrap this all up together. So the exchanging gifts has the law of giving and receiving, currency, trade-offs, weighing costs, and determining value. The Oracle's message. You're entering into a productive and enriching time when all manner of opportunities are being offered to you. Ooh. You have everything you need to seize them, yet in order to honor them, you must put in the time, exchange your experience and skills, 8 of coins, and commit heart and soul to what you're choosing to pursue. So I would say that's Queen of Wands energy. You can do it! Exclamation point. You have what it takes to be successful if you align with the law of giving and receiving. You must engage in a dance of give and take, push and pull, doing and being. If you let fear guide your choices, you could deplete yourself or create an imbalance. This is not a time of just do. Use your currency wisely and be mindful of the value others bring to your life. Okay. Let's see. So this book also has 3 other paragraphs that are different situations. So we have a prosperity message, a protection message, and a relationship message. So yes, this is not a love reading, but friendships are a relationship too. So it says love first thing in the relationship message. I'm still going to read that part, okay? So take it as you will. But I think that's going to be helpful to the reading. So it says, love is an exchange of life force energy between 2 beings. It grows exponentially when it's reciprocated. You must give and receive in order for love to flourish and abundance to flow between you. Spirit wants you to start accepting all the blessings waiting for you, as well as offer the same gift in return. Open your heart and allow it to be filled. Let love in and let it flow out of you too. Love is truly yours today. So I love this. Not to now say the word love 50 times at the end of this reading, but what I like so much about this is that we're almost kind of speaking more to the other person in this situation. They are realizing that they had just opened up the energy to everything in the get-go instead of kind of pushing these feelings down. We could have had exponentially more positivity here. Not to say that things were negative, but it wasn't what it could be. So you definitely, at minimum, I feel like have a bestie in the making. And Spirit is also encouraging you to be open to this person as they come back around. If it seems a little transactional, if it seems like, oh, now they need something, give them a chance. You know, they're seeing they're wrong. It may not be a serious enough situation for them to like admit to something. So, you know, keep both eyes open, but also don't be too guarded as this person comes in, because it may be a very positive things that you can build together and you seem to have a shared goal. So I enjoyed this time with us. Please comment below if you know who this person is and you want to talk about how it resonates. Like and subscribe. And I will see you next time in the Empress's Court. Bye. Hello, and welcome to the Exalted Empress Tarot group number 2. So if you picked the Weeping Willow or the Clear Quartz, this is for you. And we're going to talk about truth today and how your truth, somebody else's truth about you, people were trying to keep it hidden. So now that it's coming to light, how will it come to light and how will that affect you, the other party? We will see. So if you haven't done one of these readings before, real quick, the first thing that we will do is we will read for the Weeping Willow card. That is an oracle card, and that'll be kind of a summary of the overall vibe of this reading. And then at the end, we will look into the meaning of this oracle card and kind of get a wrap up for the overall message. And in between, we have our tarot deck, and we will go ahead and see what message is in store for you. Now, I'll go ahead and I will read for Weeping Willow from the booklet, and it says, sorrow, grief, flexibility. The willow tree was considered a symbol of grief and mourning in 16th and 17th century Europe. Chinese folklore associates them with ghosts due to their shape, and it is considered unlucky to have one in your yard. It is also a flexible tree, able to bend very far without snapping. This tree teaches us to bend with the universe and with what life throws at you, rather than fighting. So, flexibility and sorrow and grief. So, let's see what's going on there. Let's get some tarot cards out real quick. We have the Devil in reverse. We have Page of Wands upright. We have 10 of Wands in reverse. We have Judgment upright. Okay, so that is the first half of this, and trust me, as we as time goes on and you are here more times to watch me do these readings, you will see me mostly readjusting these cards throughout the entire reading. I always want it to look nice, and ooh, Temperance in reverse. Of course, the cards come out, and they just come out how they want to, usually messing up that I've already organized. So let's see. The Hanged Man in reverse. Almost there, your message. Okay, so we have 4 cards came out. We have the Ace of Cups upright, the Six of Wands in reverse, and we have these 2 cards. 5 of Wands in reverse, the Emperor in reverse. Let's see. We put this here. See if we can get everything. If we just scoot everything down. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and sit with this for a second to get the full vibe of this truth that's being hidden. You know, this is kind of interesting. Okay, this is maybe going to seem a little out there, but you know what? We're here, we're in the middle of a tarot reading, and why just do things the normal way? Why even bother? We might as well get into the strange and mysterious, right? Why not? So we have grief, but we also have flexibility, correct? And then we also have the devil in reverse. And what I find interesting about that is we have the devil in reverse. It's about either giving in to things that are toxic, whether it's a connection, whether it's an addiction, whether it's bad behaviors. It's either giving in or it's just that they're continuing in some low level way, in some other form that we're maybe not being honest about within ourselves. So that would kind of be the first thing here. But with combination of that and the weeping willow and this kind of flexibility in grief, I'm kind of getting the message that a kind of like premature ending. Like there's some sort of truth within a cycle that is maybe supposed to shift in some way. But one or both parties of the situation doesn't want to shift. They're just like, oh, this isn't going how I wanted it to. End it. Just end it. Just end the cycle. But that's not happening. Instead, we're getting this ongoing grief because we're trying to cut the process short instead of, I want to say evolving, but I also want to point out that that may be too much for the situation. It may not be full evolving, but a change in direction would do more maybe in this situation than the parties involved want to acknowledge. And I already see the pattern in the whole first row, but I'll kind of update you collective as I go on. So we have this grief and we have flexibility in the grief, being able to acknowledge it, work through it, and work with the differing forms of it through some sort of toxicity that isn't completely going away. This toxicity is lingering, it's still moving forward. And through that we have the Page of Wands. So there's some idea, there's some new way of doing things or a new plan or a new way to move forward, and we're getting excited about that. And then here's the pattern again. So we're moving forward, we're excited, we have a new way of doing things, we can have a new thought process in this situation, whatever it may be. And then we have the Ten of Wands here, which again is lingering at the end of a cycle. It doesn't just completely end. Instead of it completely ending, we are just going forward in this slower pace with it still in the background. And that's what it's giving me, this whole like we tried to end this thing when really what we needed was flexibility, right? The weeping willow doesn't just break, it bends in the situation. So the truth is that there needs to be an acknowledgement of the cycle forward or through, instead of just like cutting the cord or ending it, or it's just going to repeat itself somewhere else. The truth is that this is the chance to get through the situation fully instead of just breaking it up. Even if the cycle ends up like ending anyway, it needs to end in the proper timing, not in like, let's just cut it now because it seems weird, or it seems like this or that or the other thing. And I would say the Devil in reverse and the Ten of Wands in reverse both bring this kind of lingering energy of like, this didn't quite go away. This is because at the end of a cycle didn't really end. And the Devil because we're getting rid of something, but we're not really getting rid of something. We may even be going towards it. And then we have Judgment here. And Judgment is facing, or kind of karma and things coming in and showing us what we really should be looking at in this situation. So in this situation, I kind of looking at this as like an aha moment. And I think it's interesting that this Judgment is here right next to New Life. They even have the same like sunburst themes in the back of the card, where something's going to come in, some piece of information or just some clarity, where we realize that, you know what, like, I need to take a real look at this. Take a real chance at whatever this is. Actually look at the toxic whatever that's hanging around. Actually look at how I would move on from this cycle. Not just how do I get away from it, but like how do I morph this in some way, or actually address the thing that's causing an upheaval so that it can be reach a more natural conclusion instead of forcing it and then having all of this like baggage after the fact because things weren't done in the best way. And then we have Temperance. I think it's interesting that we have Temperance and the Hangman in reverse. And let me tell you why. I think Temperance, especially this version of it, is... So Temperance is trying to be an alchemist and mix things together that don't normally mix. And when it's in reverse, we're having a hard time doing that. We're having a difficult time. It may or may not actually be happening. We may just have like one foot in and out of a situation and it not moving forward in the way that we would want it. But in combination with the Hangman in reverse, I think that's actually really interesting and shows some progress. And here's why. The Hangman in upright, so the Hangman upright would look like this. Okay, so this is how the card normally is. The Hangman hangs in reverse. The fact that this character is upright actually means this is a reversal card. It's upside down. So this person isn't standing. This person is kind of floating if you look closely. And the Hangman upright would normally be waiting for a change, waiting for something new to happen, waiting for a sign. We're waiting. We may have a lot to say, or we may be thinking heavily about a situation, but we're not doing. In reverse, the Hangman gets to be more proactive, gets to move, gets to do a thing. So when I see the Temperance in reverse, I'm having a hard time making things kind of move together. And then I see the Hangman in reverse, so more productivity. What I read that as is the way that we were trying to make things work before was too passive. And that lent into why things weren't necessarily going the way we wanted to. Or maybe it was too slow, or maybe whatever. The puzzle pieces were not puzzling the way we wanted them to. So we're trying to be more proactive in order to resolve this truth or get to this truth. And I'm seeing that you or them are actually being more proactive than we were in the past. That may be why there were all these lingering things that were happening. It was a passive way to get away from toxic energy. We have a new idea, it doesn't work out, this is lingers. We don't get to end the cycle. Why are we so lingering? Oh, I need to actually be more direct. We try to mix those things together. I'm more direct. It's not working. Why is it not working? We're having some feelings about that. And then we start to be more proactive. I need to be more proactive. And then we have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups, this is a spark of a new feelings towards the situation. And I think this is really a really complex read. I don't know if this is coming off in the background, but this is a really complex read because we're getting new feelings, new emotions on the situations. The Ace of Cups, unlike the Page of Wands, they're both kind of a new idea, but Pages is more advanced. We've got more planning involved. We got more of an idea of what it'll look like when we move forward with our idea. But the Ace of Cups, we don't necessarily know what things will look like going forward. So with the cups being about emotions, we just know we have a new spark of emotion around something, and we're going with that. And then we have Six of Wands. Six uprights can be a victory, an acknowledged victory. Six of Wands in reverse may not be a victory, or it could be a private victory. So this is something that we're succeeding in, but no one acknowledges it or notices or even know what's going on. So this may be part of that hidden truth energy. We've been working a long time to resolve a thing, a feeling, a situation, to get away from toxicity, to close a cycle. We really wanted to get away from feeling that we were in a negative place or this person. And it's only when we start acknowledging it directly that it starts to get resolved. But it's going to get resolved and no one's going to see that at first. So no one's going to see you, and this is coming together now, no one's going to see you reaching your achievement or accomplishing your goal. Or if they do, it's not going to get acknowledged. It's going to be more of a private thing, because you tried to do it outright the way that everyone expected you to. It kind of let other things, other negativity linger that you didn't need. So now that we get closer to this actual resolving of what needed to be resolved, you're kind of celebrating it solo, which is, by the way, is fine. And I think some people may actually see this. Some of the people it resolved may see you resolving your stuff and resolving your situation, but they may not give you that acknowledgement of it. It'll stay unseen. And I see with this Five of Wands energy that something about the way you resolve it or that you have resolved it may cause some bickering elsewhere. Now, this is Five of Wands, so this isn't necessarily like a fight or an argument or falling out. It may just be like bickering and friction and people being like, no, I'm right, in the situation. So it may not be bad fighting or, really a big deal, but it will be kind of misdirected energy, that you're kind of resolving your stuff. And I think it's really interesting. I'm seeing a lot of spears here right next to each other. So I think even though you're moving more towards peace and you're resting your spears, other people are picking theirs up and just kind of shaking it around and being like, well, I this, that, I think this, I think that, maybe some unwanted opinions coming towards you and your success, resolving your issue. Maybe they just don't want people to know that you are, in fact, reaching a peaceful place, and they'll come up with some other reason about why you're being quiet. Or if not being quiet, not doing things the way you used to, etc. And we kind of end off our tarot cards with the Emperor in reverse. So the Emperor in reverse is a leader, a father figure, masculine energy that may be a little bit too controlling in a situation. It's interesting that it's at the end. You've already have your victory here. So I don't think this is someone coming in to be controlling, because that would disrupt your victory. I think instead, which also seems very positive with this new life one, so new life card. So what I think this is with you finding your peace and finding your victory. They're just kind of scuffle to hide the fact that maybe someone was holding on a little bit too tight to the situation. Maybe the devil energy, that negativity that we couldn't quite let go of, was someone grasping too tight to you or your idea or your circumstances. And with you kind of finding this unacknowledged peace, other people may bicker a little bit to try to figure out what happened, to realize that, oh, you know, we were holding on too tightly. We should have kind of let go a little bit, and things could have resolved much sooner, and maybe with a little bit less toxic energy. So, whew, yeah, good news. You're at peace. You're healing. You're moving forward and being successful, but it might take a little while for other people to come to terms with that in your sphere. So that's all I have for you as far as tarot cards. So now we're going to look at the New Life Oracle card and see how things wrap up. So the description for this says, birth of new ideas, growth, opportunities, a breath of fresh air, life renewing itself. When spring awakens the world, joy and excitement can be felt all around and in your very core. Blossoms burst from trees overnight, birds return home and sing their glorious song, and nature is full of promise. Miracles beckon all of us. This is one of those times in your life when new ideas inspire you and new opportunities bring you hope for seeing your dreams come true. All is well in your world, and you have the energy you need to feel renewed. Allow your heart to fill with enthusiasm. Let your light shine, for this is a time of good fortune. So, again, good things are coming your way. So, I'm going to read one more short paragraph. These cards have 3 extra kind of paragraphs afterwards, one for relationship, one for prosperity, and one for protection. So I'm just going to read the one for prosperity because that seems most relevant for this reading. Prosperity. You have every reason to be optimistic right now, as things seem to fall into place magically. New opportunities remind you that abundance is available to you. Delight in the bounty that begins to appear in surprising forms. Stay curious and know that your hopes and dreams are being fulfilled. It's as if new life suddenly infuses your projects, work, and creative ideas with a kind of electricity that crackles with exciting potential. Fortune is smiling on you. That is so exciting. So, I don't know what you have in the works, but it sounds like there are pretty exciting things coming your way. If you know what this is all about and you know what you've been healing through and moving forward to, what your quiet success is, please comment below. I'd love to see you again in the Empress's court. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to the Exalted Empress Tarot. And today we are talking about the truth, okay? What truth about you is being hidden? What do other people not want to know? And how is it going to come out? How will it affect all the people involved? If you have not done one of these readings before, the first thing we're going to do is look into your oracle card here. This will be your overall theme for the rest of your reading, and then we will look at peace, which will be kind of the end of reading summary. And then in between here will be all of your tarot cards. So let's go ahead and pull a few. Or actually, let us first start off with the picture plant and the reading for that one, or the little summary from the booklet. It says, deceit, illusion. The carnivorous pitcher plants give off a scent that is enticing to insects. However, this is a trap. Once an insect has fallen inside the plant's chamber, it is eaten alive with the plant's digestive juices. Well, beware of temptations, for things may not be as great as they appear. Ooh, who's trying to tempt you? Okay, we have 10 of coins in reverse. We have the Emperor upright. Ooh, 4 of Wands, 2 of Wands. Interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust this, but the stand for my camera's in the way. So, look, I may spend a little bit more time adjusting things than others would, but just want it to look nice for you guys. Okay, 4 more cards. This is interesting. Very, very interesting. We have 2 of coins and then the Empress in reverse. Underneath the Emperor upright. Very interesting. 2 more cards. If Spirit decides to give me 2 more cards. And I'll go ahead and get started with the rest of... See, we got 3 more cards. Spirit does what it wants. 10 of Swords in reverse. Justice. Let's see who our little bonus card is here. 6 of Cups. Interesting. This is kind of a bonus card. So we're going to go ahead and read all of these. So again, just going to look at this. So we have deceit and illusion. Deceit and illusion are the main words here, but then it says beware of temptations at the bottom. I think this is a little bit more complicated than it seems at first. This isn't just look out for the bad person who's like around you for whatever reason. What this is, to me, this truth they don't want you to know, don't want others to know, is that you have good things coming in for you, whether person, place, or thing. Someone sees it. Someone knows in advance that something good is coming in for you. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to be aware, whether you're distracted and that's easy for them to do is to distract you more, or maybe they just somehow got intel and they know you don't know and they think they can make you fumble your own good fortune. I definitely feel this is a situation where someone is trying to be a barrier. So, the 10 of coins. This is complete fulfillment from a structural or not structural necessarily, but like a fiscal point of view, having all your money situations in order, having all your material things in order, but it's in reverse. And so it could just be, the simplest way to say it is, these things are therefore not in order. It could also be that a particular financial project just didn't go all the way through for some reason. With the Emperor, so these cards here are very positive. These other ones going into it. So you have the Emperor. This is someone who is like a father figure, is giving advice, is leading, and is helping you in the situation. So you have guidance, even though maybe things aren't going the way you want them to at this time. And this Emperor is absolutely going to help lead you towards stability. That's what Four of Wands is. Four of Wands is stability, usually in the sense of like family and the home. So, yeah, if you have your person, maybe you're advancing in that relationship, or maybe you're getting a house, maybe you're getting a more solid job situation. You're moving towards things being settled in your life. Things in your life being boring, aka put together. Right. And this Emperor person is kind of leading you towards that. And I think the picture plant is referring to something with these two cards, Two of Wands and Two of Coins back to back. I think that maybe you had a choice to make after getting some stability, some well-needed or sought-after stability. And then we had the Two of Coins happen, where you should have been set up and in a good way. And then it somehow fractured. We somehow ended up in a situation where we're trying to balance the situation and we're managing, but we're getting close to this reverse Ten of Coins again somehow. And I think that has to do with some interference. I'm not seeing a specific card that's saying interference, but I'm seeing that you got help to make things better and get stable, and then there was a planning for something. Sorry, this is not a choice. I misspoke. The Two of Wands is a choice. Is you planning towards something, and that planning broke down. So if that planning broke down, and now it's hard to balance things, was it because this Emperor was like a false emperor? I don't know. I don't think so, because it's not upside down. I think that there was some sort of interference after it looked like you were more stable. I think that's what the picture plant is saying, is like something about seeing you in here. Someone gave you bad advice or something, or someone interfered in the background. You made what would normally be a good decision. It somehow didn't work out the way you thought it would. And now you're in this Two of Coins situation where you're just like barely balancing things in your life. And this all is leaning towards financial stuff in particular. And just because this is pentacles, or coins in this deck, but coins, pentacles, coin, pentacles, and this is wands, but it has to do with like the home, so it can include like physical stuff as well, right? Because we're things that need to keep our home financially sound. Money is one of them. So then we move to the Empress in reverse. This could mean being too much in our masculine, whether you're divine, feminine, or masculine. Doesn't matter for too much in our masculine. We're not letting things come to us. We're not letting opportunities come to us. With this being underneath the Emperor, I also see this as being maybe we're not allowing for good advice maybe to come our way. Maybe this person's reaching out, they're seeing that things aren't working out well, and they're like, what happened? And we're just not opening up to that. So if you're holding your own truth back, if you're not being honest about like, hey, this is where I'm at, other people can't help you because they won't know, especially if this is someone who was guiding you in some way before and they helped you out. Even if they're within their rights to not want to help you in the same way, because maybe you did fumble a little bit, that doesn't mean that they just like don't want to hear from you and don't want to know about your situation. Maybe they can still offer advice or guidance or just somewhere to, someone to lean on a little bit, just emotionally, and just to be like, yeah, I fumbled things up. So that may be the hidden truth here. We're hiding it, our own truth from others. Let's not do that. At least not from people who are safe to share with. Moving on from there, we have the Ten of Swords in reverse. So this is something that is done and over with, and we don't have to feel the betrayal of that. So that's also under the Four of Wands, which is interesting. We have a situation that's done, and maybe at some point, maybe it's the relationship with that person who gave that advice or kind of made things work out more poorly in the background. But either way, we're having these swords drop out from their back, and we're having, basically in this case, a relief from that situation. We're moving forward, and we're having maybe a little bit more awareness that we don't have to push forward in order to fix the situation. We can lean back a little bit and let the solutions come to us every once in a while and see what shows up. And I see here with justice that things will be evened out and centered again. It may not seem like it. You may be in a point where you're just like, oh my gosh, like all these things, like I didn't expect them to go this way or that way, and now what am I supposed to do? But justice is coming for whoever kind of threw you off track. And I think you're on the path to learning whatever you needed to learn in this situation. And also kind of getting your glow up energy afterwards. I feel like this whole thing was for you to learn. And I think you learned what you needed to learn. And now you can move forward. And that's kind of like the end of the full reading for you. But I also feel with the Six of Cups in reverse that when you look back on this, you're not going to have rose-colored glasses on. You're going to look back at this with the appropriate amount of balanced emotions, whether there is some, loving feelings and nostalgia over the situation, or it's kind of just like, oof, that was a hard period of my life, but it'll be balanced. So don't think that you're looking at things a certain way and kind of glossing over the details. Now, those are all your tarot cards. So let's go ahead and see how peace summarizes everything. That is card number 23. Don't know if that number means anything to anyone. But is peace, freedom from attachment, radical acceptance. It doesn't get any better than this. A quiet mind, a heart fulfilled, freedom from want, and the soul satisfaction. The way to peace is through radical acceptance. Everything in your world is exactly as it should be. Harmony is beautiful. Enjoy it. And I'm going to go ahead and read the prosperity message for this card. So just so you're aware, this deck also has other messages, like alternative ones that can be read, and there's one for relationship, prosperity, and protection. So I'm going to read the prosperity one because I feel like that's the most relevant to this pile. And it says, this is one of those times when you're capable of clear vision about your work and how to create your prosperity. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You're called by a presence to step into your power. Just being is enough. For you are in a beautiful harmony with spirit, and it shows in your work. So, in that case, peace is coming in. The situation that kind of caused some this dishevelment, it's going away. The truth is, you may be in a difficult spot. You may need a little bit of help, but be open towards the people who can help you and who are there for you. Now, if this resonated, if you'd like to share down below, please feel free to comment. And I hope that you enjoyed your time here. Like and subscribe below, and I will see you next time. Hello, and welcome to the Exalted Empress Tarot. If you picked Group 4, you are in the right place, and we are going to talk about truth. Who's telling it, who's keeping it hidden, and how it's going to come into light and how that will affect you. So, if you have not done one of these readings before, we're going to read for this oracle card first, the Moonstone, and that's going to be your overall theme for your reading. And then at the end, we are going to look at Unfinished Symphony and see how that closes out your reading in total. So we'll start, and then in the middle will be all your tarot cards. So let's read for Moonstone first, and it says soothing, third eye, tranquility. Moonstone is a type of feldspar. This is one of my favorite gemstones. That's how it's written. I like it, but it's not my favorite. One of my favorite gemstones due to its ethereal beauty. The shifting, cool colors give it a very tranquil feel. Some cultures believe moonstone to be the moon's rays, solidified. It is said to aid with overcoming grief and stress and helps with strengthening intuition and clairvoyance. It is associated with the third eye and crown chakra. If you are in need of recharging, let the moonstone provide healing. So, soothing third eye, tranquility, and overcoming grief and stress, and strengthening intuition and clairvoyance. So just keep that in mind as we go through some more. Sorry, I'm going to take these two. We have Page of Swords in reverse and Death in reverse. Interesting. I'm not going to take these other ones because I can just drop those. But let's see what else may come up for you. We have Ace of Swords in reverse, and we also have King of Coins upright. Let's see. We have 10 of Cups. We have 8 of Wands. We have 5 of Swords. Sorry, that one was off screen. And then Knight of Swords. Interesting. Okay, let's get into what is going on here. So, have Page of Swords, and we have in reverse, and then we have Death. So, in reverse as well. And then Ace of Swords in reverse. Okay. There's definitely some truth here that isn't coming to light, which I know is the whole topic of the reading, but you're getting it very direct, like literal. The other groups, there was more wiggle room for the actual topic, but with the Page of Swords, because the Swords energy has a lot to do with truth already, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of your 8 cards, so half of your tarot cards are about the truth and facts and things like that. And what I'm seeing here with the Page of Swords to begin with is that there was something that was planned for, that was thought out, that either that planning, that project, that insight it didn't come to fruition, it seems like, but it also didn't go away. Like, however things happened, it didn't end. It just didn't go the way it was expected. And that's kind of the secret, is that things didn't go the way it was supposed to. And either they're not telling that part, or they're not telling the part where they're still trying to make things work. They're still trying to make things go forward. But maybe they're not letting people know because if it continues to not go well, they don't want people to know, essentially. But the Ace of Swords in reverse, this is again another idea that maybe didn't get off the ground, but this is much earlier. So that was a more vetted idea that maybe didn't go where we wanted it to go, where they wanted it to go. And then we have a new idea that was supposed to help or change things for the better, and that also did not go where we expected things to go. I think that there is just there's a need to put on a front for some reason of things being perfect, not even good, but perfect. And so these things that aren't going well hit bigger than maybe they even are, because it's like, well, I'm trying to show this like perfect situation, and this isn't correct, or this isn't correct. And I'm feeling like this person wants to portray themselves to you in some way. With the King of Coins energy and the Ten of Cups. So King of Coins is someone who has a lot of their financial stuff together. And Ten of Cups is emotional cycle completion, having everything you need as far as like a family and things like that. And I think they really want to make it seem as if they have all of their stuff together. And then they retreat when that's not the case. Now, I just want to say this isn't strictly love. It can be a work situation. It can just be like a competitive person in your life. But there's someone who wants to present themselves that they have everything together. And for whatever reason, this may even be someone who's like, it's kind of like you don't really want to deal with them. But they may be more competitive with you than you know. It's just like you're not giving them that time and that space in your life, and you shouldn't. But yeah, this person wants you to see them as perfect even when things are going wrong. With the Eight of Wands, I feel like it's going to be revealed very quickly. Like maybe not soon, as in like the next couple of days or weeks or something, but when it happens, it's going to happen all at once, where they're going to be exposed with the Five of Swords. So this truth is going to come out, that a bunch of things that they told you and try to put in front of you as like, oh, my life is perfect, is actually just not the case at all. Like there's some other stuff going on. Things are falling apart. Like whatever story they're writing is like, it's not fact. It's not. And they may have been very calm and connected when they said this, or it seemed. And now that they're being exposed, it will be harder to avoid the fact that they embellish. So it may cause a lot of friction in different areas of their life, because people will then ask, right? Like, didn't you say this? Didn't you say that? And if they were trying to compare themselves to you and these other facets of their life, those things are going to fall apart too. People are going to be like, what? She told me this, she told me this, or he told me this, he told me this. And it's just going to look really bad on their end because they were not being honest. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be, you're going to be a little distanced from this, which is good actually, because whoever this is, I think they were competing with you, but I don't get that energy back that you were really trying to compete with them. With the Moonstone, I'm getting that you were probably more centered and you were doing your own thing, and this person projected this competitive spirit onto you, but really like you're not interacting with them in that way. So I don't know that you'll even feel the impact of it. You may literally just live your life, and you're living your life, and then this person's like, they have to know how good I'm doing just to be exposed, and you're probably just going to be aware when they come exposed and you're like, oh wow, that was crazy. But again, it's not going to affect you too much because you weren't competing. And with the Knight of Swords, this is just the truth coming in. This is the truth coming in very quickly. And the fact that it's here and it's not over here, this Eight of Wands is a quick change, but it's not necessarily like the truth or clarity or facts. It could be just a situation morphs, something new comes in. It's not specifically tied to those ideas. The Knight of Swords is about facts, truth, honesty, and that coming in. So I think that they're going to get exposed, but then I think also there's going to be other realizations. It's going to be a lock that unlocks you a bunch of other things that weren't seen, and maybe things that do connect to you, but they're more in a third party way. So it may not be directly you against this person because you weren't competing with them, but it may be opportunities and things that they were blocking by just being in the way and being loud and being like, I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one. And at the end of the day, maybe you'll see more opportunities and things come your way because you didn't even realize these things were being blocked from you because you weren't paying attention to this person's spirit. But now that they're out of the way and people realize how they are and what's really going on with them, more those things will just be rerouted to you naturally, and it's just all of a sudden there's going to be more abundance coming towards you. So as far as Unfinished Symphony, that's this card right here, where we've moved on from the tarot cards. You got all of your tarot cards done. We're going to go ahead and read Unfinished Symphony, so your last oracle. And it says, unfinished business, an incomplete lesson, lack of closure, the need to make amends. This is a time to tie up loose ends as you near the completion of a cycle or project and mastery of a lesson or skill. Before you can move forward, it is important that you come to terms with where you are now. Practice radical acceptance. Take inventory so that emotional and psychological closure can occur and the answers you seek will be found. You can't move forward if you are leaving things unfinished. Reflect on what has passed so that the symphony can finally end on a high note. So, you are completing your skills, and Spirit is saying that to focus on those being done right so you don't have to repeat this cycle somewhere else, which I feel like the cards reflect that you are, because you weren't initially trying to compete with this other individual. So basically you want to be prepared when those opportunities do come in by, being on top of your game in other areas. So these decks of oracle cards have multiple alternative readings depending on the topic. So I'm going to read the prosperity message as well, because I feel like that's the most relevant one to this pile. And it says, make sure you complete projects now before starting new ones. Perhaps you have created something special that will increase your sense of abundance and bring you opportunities for wealth. However, if you don't see it through, it won't add up to anything but more clutter. Now is the time to put your nose to the grindstone and complete the tasks that have accumulated. Pay your bills, sign the documents, do your filing, hand in an assignment, complete a work of art. Tie up loose ends so you can move forward with surety, knowing that you're on the prosperous path and feeling refreshed and excited about the future. So, again, a lot of abundance is coming your way. Just dot the I's, cross the T's, get all your stuff together, because new things are coming in. The blockages that you maybe didn't even notice are going to move out the way when the truth comes out about this person, and you're going to see a lot of stuff, new beginnings coming in. So be prepared for it. And if that resonated, please click like and subscribe below. I hope to see you again, and I will see you next time.